Hey everybody, and welcome to the Ingles table. I'm Marc Ryan, and this is my beautiful wife Angela, and today we're going to be showing you how to make some of Grandma's gluten-free stuffing. It is delicious. We got everything we need from our local Ingles markets, so let's rock and roll.
Let's get started. So we just took some toast out of the oven. I purchased a loaf on the aisle of Ingles, and they have a special section for gluten-free bread. Which...
Yes, and we are gluten-free. I have to be gluten-free. What Italian would ever choose that fate, right? I'm Italian. We've got to rock and roll with this, and I'll tell you what, Ingles has the largest gluten-free section in the country, and so it's perfect for things like this. Things that maybe you think you can't eat anymore. Well, now because of Ingles, you can.
Yes, and they have other options in the bakery as well as the frozen food section as well. So we'll take our gluten-free bread, set that off to the side for now. And I will mention that you do want to cut these up into chunks about the size of 6 to 8 pieces per slice. So, honey, if you want to get started with sauteing.
Absolutely. Here we go. We've got some celery right here. We're going to pour this into the pot and get this party kick-started here. We've got some onions as well. You feel like crying today?
No, not yet.
No crying? Okay. Absolutely delicious.
Okay. So you're going to go ahead and get that stirred.
Okay.
Keep a close eye on it
Okay.
so it doesn't burn.
Okay.
And then I'm going to go ahead and start cooking our sausage.
So I'll tell you what, this recipe is what my mom makes, and we've had it our whole life. And it is literally my favorite part of Thanksgiving. You know, it simply has to be there. As a matter of fact, babe, you remember where we went to Thanksgiving this year? Remember we were going to someone else's house?
Yeah.
And Mom was going to be there. And I said, we've got to have the stuffing. And do you remember the fight she put up?
Oh,
no,
yeah.
that's rude. We can't bring my dish to somebody else's house. But I insisted, right? I insisted. So she ended up giving us the recipe for the gluten-free stuffing. You made it. And I think my mom said, yours is better than hers. How did you do that? How did you pull that off? So that's exactly what we've done. This is like a family heirloom, and it is delicious. And the beautiful thing is,
it's gluten-free.
No one would ever know they're having gluten-free stuffing, right? It is crispy, it is herby, it is saucy, it is delicious, it is all of the above.
So I do want to mention, you want to pat down your sausage into a big circle and wait a few minutes just to make sure that that one side is browned, and then you're going to cut it in half into pie pieces and flip over and brown the other side before you're actually going to chop it up into chunks. Okay, so now that the sausage is browned and chopped up, we're going to move on to our next step. So, honey, if you could do the honors and pouring this into our stock pot.
Absolutely. How is that looking to you?
That's looking really good.
Okay.
Really good.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Okay,
All
I'll
right.
turn this off. Okay.
Absolutely.
I'll set
Here
it
we
down
go.
for you.
Let us pour this deliciousness into the pot. And again, you know, it's kind of like, you know, if you think about the love people have for pizza, well, it stems from the fact that you love everything that's in a pizza. You love the dough, and you love the cheese, and you love the tomato sauce, and you love the herbs. And this is one of those dishes where it really pops when the whole thing is put together. You know, individually, you know, the ingredients don't wow you, but when it's all together, you know, it always has that wow factor. And I got to be honest with you, Angela, I think my mom was floored at how you made this. There was zero differentiation between hers and yours last Thanksgiving.
Yeah, she did mention that. It made me feel good. So it just tells you how easy this recipe is to reenact. So we do have our herbs that you can have one of two options. You can place it on the toast as soon as it comes out of the oven. In this case, we're going to go ahead and pour our herbs into our stock pot. And then our chunks of toasted bread, gluten-free bread, which is very important in our household. And then we have Laura Lynn's chicken broth. I like to do the reduced sodium. And we're going to pour this in. And honey, if you want to stir,
Absolutely.
pour in. And place the entire container in there. I start off with pouring about half of it and then stirring.
And you really kind of try to mix all the layers in together. So you have it like covered from top to bottom. And it really mixes together well. This is also the part of the process when you hear that fizz when the broth hits the bottom of the pan, when you start to get that aroma throughout the whole house, right?
Yes.
Right? So for all the other cooking shows, they're going to be like, what smells so good in here? You know? I'm going to say it's all me. I'm just kidding.
Let's go ahead and pour that in. And you're going to continue to stir. You want to make sure that the entire chicken broth is soaked up by the gluten-free bread.
Yeah, make sure all of the sides of the bread are covered with the broth. Otherwise, what happens is it comes out a little bit dry, right? And so you want the perfect stuffing is kind of like the debate that people always have on brownie pieces. You know, are you a center of the pan brownie gal, or are you an edge gal?
Definitely center.
So
nice
you're
and
center.
gooey.
So Angela likes the moist brownie, right? I'm an edge guy. But when you make your stuffing this way, what you have is a perfect meld, right? An absolutely perfect meld of moist and crispy on the different sides of the pan.
So we're going to give this a few minutes for the broth to soak up into the bread, and then we'll come back on our next step.
Now here is an Italian specialty. Parsley makes everything better. It's also incredibly good for you, and it has a lot of antibacterial properties. So we pour this fresh parsley in there, and it gives it that extra little kick, right? That molds all of the beautiful flavors in it together. And then you start to look at this, and you start to say, well, this is beginning to look like something that I would really enjoy, right?
And smell.
You know, and it's interesting too when you factor in all the different people that are gluten-free these days, and it's not even the wheat itself that's the problem. It's what's happened to the wheat, right? And my belief is that as time goes on, more and more people are going to be gluten-free because of just how you feel better when you do that. And so, you know, we're very grateful that Ingles has so many different gluten-free options so that you can enjoy the foods you love without demoting the foods you love at all. The taste is every bit there, if not better. This gluten-free bread that we got from Ingles is one of our favorites, and it makes a delectable stuffing.
So now that our bread has soaked up all the chicken stock, we're going to go ahead and move on to our next step, which we're going to pour the ingredients into our pre-greased pan.
And here we go. Look at this deliciousness. Globs and globs of goodness entering our pans and entering our hearts.
Okay, babe. And if you want to hand me the spatula, and then you're going to evenly spread out the dressing and just gently pat and smooth out. So make sure you cover the corners with a little bit. Okay, so now that we've evenly spread out our dressing into our pre-greased pan, we're going to place this in a pre-heated oven for 350 degrees for an hour. But to save time, we went ahead and prepared.
Yes, this is what the finished product looks like. Feast your eyes, my friends. This will be gone in an instant. Grandma's gluten-free stuffing, the hit of your Thanksgiving. Hey, this has been a blast, hasn't it?
Yeah,
absolutely incredible.
Really.
Thanks so much for joining us here at the Ingles table. Be sure and check out the website for more tips, tricks, and recipes. We will see you next time.